everyone, good evening and welcome to this edition of Startup Central. I'm Avanne Dubash. On today's show, we put the spotlight on Prime Minister Modi, who met some of the key gamers and spoke about the future of gaming in the country. We tell you more about that and chat with one of the gamers who actually met with Prime Minister Modi. We also get you the latest on Bharti Hexacon, the listing of the day, Elon Musk's India visit and lots more. First, let's begin the show then. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually interacted with some of the biggest names within the gaming space in India over the weekend. The likes of Mortal, 8-Bit, as well as Payal Gaming, Gamerfleet, all of those, and it was a very cool conversation. It was interactive, which even saw the Prime Minister try his hand at some of the virtual reality games. Joining in is Animesh Agarwal. He's the founder of S8UL and 8-Bit Creatives and tells us more about the meet with the Prime Minister himself. Animesh, thanks so much for taking time out. Sorry, I'm a little new with the lingo when it comes to gaming, but I know it was a super big deal, the fact that you guys managed to meet the Prime Minister as well, and there were a lot that was really discussed with the Prime Minister, talking about the creativity of the gamers and how you guys are promoting the gaming industry. What was it like?
I think it was an amazing experience. To be honest, at the beginning, we did not even believe that we are actually getting a chance to meet the Prime Minister. That to us being gamers coming from an industry that hasn't gotten much limelight. But to be honest, it was a very beautiful experience, although a lot of the details are going to come out tomorrow. However, from what you have seen in the teaser, there were some interesting topics that were touched upon. There was some fun chats that we had with him, and also playing games with him was everything that marked that day. We would discuss about game development, the type of games that should be made in India. Also, how our career has been, how a gamer's life looks like. He had some curiosity, and so were we, curious about things that we wanted to know from him, learn from him. So overall, it was a very wholesome experience, I would say.
Right, and the Prime Minister also touched upon the big debate of gaming versus gambling. What did he have to say?
I think it was more about perception. I believe that when he wanted to ask about, a difference between gaming versus gambling, it was more of a perception change that I believe people need to understand. So I think it's more about education now to the masses that the kind of gaming vertical that we represent, which is the esports and the competitive gaming side, which has now been a part of Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, and also proposed to be a part of Olympics, where there are players from our country representing the nation across the world in different tournaments. I think that needs to be a little segregated from gambling. So it was more of a perception discussion rather than anything in particular.
There was also one woman gamer there, Payal Dhare. What did the Prime Minister have to say with respect to women in gaming?
I think if you look at it, there's been a close to, all those data says there's been a 60-40, it's a 60-40 ratio. But I believe if you look at the esports size, there has been a 23%, 25% interest coming from women, which definitely is a very significant number if you look at it, in India being one of the biggest mobile gaming markets. So it's definitely a significant number. I believe that having worked with so many female gamers within my organization, I believe that it's a very good profession, very safe profession for the women joining in. And obviously, as time has grown, as we have had fantastic female gamers like Payal herself, who was a part of the panel, definitely they paved the way for a lot of other female gamers who want to enter the industry. They inspire them. And I believe that as time progresses, we'll have more opportunities open up for more female gamers who would want to join the cohort, both on the content and the esports side.
Given that we have seen the Modi government really recognizing creativity of, gamers, they have promoted the gaming industry quite significantly. Was there any game plan laid out as to what the future of the gaming industry would look like?
See, definitely it looks very positive. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been sitting with the Honorable Prime Minister of the country. Definitely, the government realizes that it's an important industry, important vertical that's growing and gaining popularity. So I believe that as time progresses, because currently the government knows to take care of every small and big industry. So I believe that we would have some things come in place that would really help us in things like ease of business, and maybe some policies that really help us grow and bring structure to this industry. I believe that the future looks very positive overall, even if you go by numbers.
And I believe as well, on a lighter note, he was very happy listening to all the feedback, and he said, "Matlab, sab kuch mere aane ke baad hua hai," right?
So actually, that was with that conversation with regards to the cheap internet we were talking about, and also we were discussing actually which was that year which changed the face of gaming in India, and we were just discussing that 2019 end and 2020 were the year. So that's when he just, he was just joking about it, that saying that सब कुछ मेरे आने के बाद ही हुआ, because the year that we were discussing is obviously after he became the prime minister of our country.
Well, that's quite interesting. And given that we're really seeing the next generation take on to gaming in a big way, I just want to understand a little bit more about combining some of the age-old traditions and concepts like games based on mythology. Is that a big trend going forward as well?
Definitely. He had some asks from the industry in general, which you would see in the episode tomorrow. But yes, he definitely wanted the industry to pursue game development and continue making games that reflect Indian culture, that reflect Indian policies, that are made in such a way that the youth and the upcoming and the very younger generation get to learn something about our country and things that are going in the country, which I think is not some, which is I think is not a big ask. Because gaming really connects well. Even us as kids, when we were in class 1 2, we used to have our computer period. We used to go to computer room to play, to learn stuff that we are learning in other subjects via games, via small mini games. So I think it's not a big ask. There's something definitely that the industry would take note of, and I believe already, as discussed in the during the session, that such games are in development, and I guess the industry and the game development community would continue to contribute towards it. But definitely, it's a very important task and a very good point that our honorable prime minister raised with us.
And he also took his hand at gaming. I believe he was playing some of the PC and VR games. How good was the Prime Minister?
Oh, that was fun. I mean, like, I was the one who was guiding him through the VR setup. I took like 30-45 seconds to tell him, and then he just adjusted himself. He had amazing grasping ability. He just went on and played all by himself. But it looked really fun, and we were there to cheer him up. And he had a decent score, which you will get to know tomorrow. So definitely, it was fun, and like he has those inherent inbuilt gaming skills, I would say. Not too difficult to teach him.
And I know that as well, on a lighter note, to wrap it up, Animesh, you guys were a bit nervous and he cracked some jokes about coloring his hair. Tell us more.
Oh yes, so that was in respect to a conversation between Payal and and our honorable prime minister, where Payal was saying कि sir हम जैसे कि आप मेरे से बहुत बड़े हो, तो then he jokingly said that who told you that I am very old to you? I am also young. I just color my hair white so that the world looks at me like I am a serious person. That was the reference that he was trying to make, but yeah, all in good fun and humor.
All right, good to know, Animesh. Thanks for joining us on Startup Central. Let's